Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here, and it's not just TV, it's HBO. 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more than one man should. Yeah, Hollywood, well kiss me good. Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more than...
Television hasn't really been my strong suit this year, but one of the things that I do know is you can't deny the greatness that is HBO, and many other cable network stations like Showtime and Cinemax. The shows that they put on these channels are so well written and so brilliant, and it's because of the fact that these are cable network shows that aren't like network television. You can get away with and do a lot more to please your audiences. I did a review of HBO stuff so far already, and there will be a link to the review that I did in the box below. But today we're going to talk about 2 shows that I reviewed in that segment, plus another one that I reviewed on its own. 2 of them, when I last reviewed them, were already in their first seasons, and now they're just wrapping up their 3rd, and one of them is actually about to start its 4th. And the other one is now officially in its sophomore season, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't hit the sophomore slump. So let's begin with Boardwalk Empire, starring Steve Buscemi, of course, and a couple of other great cast members. The 2nd season was definitely not one to really remember. You really don't even need to remember it when you started watching the 3rd season, but what was so great about the 3rd season was it talked about the gang war. Now, gangster stuff is something that I enjoy, especially when it involves historic events, but now it was a point in time where we actually saw the gangs pitted against each other for power, and all of that stuff that makes gangsters phenomenal. And, of course, it takes place a couple of years after the 2nd season, and a lot had happened since the 2nd season, but it was so great, especially with the new character that was thrown in for the season, the guy that pretty much has the ability to fly off the handle at the drop of a hat, and that was Chip Rossetti, and how he caused the turbulence between the gangs. And it was also awesome to see the uses of the Tommy guns and all of the famous mob standoffs, and also Michael Shannon's character really took a very interesting turn this season. I really don't know where his character is going to be, and that's why, with the way that it ended, I'm curious to see where he'll end up in the 4th season. And then, of course, we go to Game of Thrones Season 3. Now, Game of Thrones is the show that everybody and their mother in the 4 winds loves to talk about. But this season was definitely awesome because of all of the surprises. The show is going on in each episode, it keeps moving on, and all of a sudden, boom! Something happens, and you freak out! I must have freaked out more times than I can even count on one hand because of what happened in this season. And all I know is that I don't even want to talk about it, but Peter Dinklage, Lena Headey, Maisie Williams, everybody played their part this year, and I am just so excited to see exactly where Season 4 is going to go, especially with what happened at the end of Season 3. And of course, we're going into another show that has officially hit its sophomore season, and that is Aaron Sorkin's The Newsroom. This season is a very different season from the first one, because if you have seen the first season of The Newsroom, and there will be a link to my review of The Newsroom below, the show revolved around the news stories unfolding in modern history. This year, it's a little bit different. It starts off at a certain point in time, very similar to another brilliant piece of Aaron Sorkin's work, and that is The Social Network. It starts off at a certain point of time, and then we're basically seeing how we got from point A, which was the season finale of Season 1, to point B. And the other thing is, a couple of characters that were really focused upon in Season 1 are kind of put into the background, because it's really revolving around 4 major characters. Will McAvoy, played brilliantly by Jeff Daniels, basically as everything's been unfolding since he said what he said at the end of Season 1. John Gallagher Jr.'s character, Jim, because of everything that had happened with him, and Maggie Jordan, played by Alison Pill. She's got another major factor in the story as well. But of course, Dev Patel is actually one of the main 4 in this season right now, and I'm glad because he's really the guy on the bottom rung of the ladder, and it's really showing us this season how he's really trying to bring himself up, alongside Maggie, who also has said a lot about herself as being on the bottom rung. So it's really about people, I guess you could say, taking themselves from where they were and trying to bring themselves to a better stature in the newsroom. And I'm very curious to see, basically, I'm already 3 episodes in, and I am a little intrigued by the different tone that this season is taking right now, and I'm very curious to see where it's actually going to end up, and I'm really hoping that there will be a season 3, because I just love the newsroom. So that's it, guys. 3 shows, of course, not necessarily new, but new seasons taking place, beginning, ending, what have you. Always looking forward to the next seasons. So at this point in time, the question that I want to leave with you today is, I don't know a thing about Shameless. Do you watch it? Because it's not an HBO show, but I am very eager to see it, because I've heard so much about it. We're already going into the 4th season coming up, and I really want to see this show. Is it really worth watching? Tell me in a video response if you like, what are your thoughts on Shameless? I am the Lawn Gnome. Remember that actions speak louder than words.
You wanna be the chosen one. Yeah, you know it. Just can't help yourself.